Hey, fight fans, this is Ted Check. How are you? Oh my God, it's been a long time. It's been a long time. And but at the advice of several people who fans, just fixing the long eyebrows here. At the request of several fans who still amazingly frequent the channel, uh, I'm doing this broadcast here for UFC 285. Um, Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. I've been away from the sport for a long time. I guess I should address that first. Been away from the sport for a long time. I got disenchanted with it. Got kind of sick of it. To be totally blunt and honest with you, um, I got sick of it because of the way that the UFC and I guess I should just realize this is business. Business is business. Um, they were the way that they were treating guys like Jon Jones, who we're going to talk about tonight. Jon Jones and Conor McGregor, just giving them kind of slaps on the wrist, and here we go. Jon Jones, how many second chances was the guy given? How many how many times was he stripped of the title? How many times was he arrested? How many times was he busted for steroids? It just goes on and on. I'm not going to list them all. You can go to his Wikipedia and it's there. No, hold on a sec here. I'm just getting used to this whole the YouTube has a new thing for streaming. This is all brand new to me. I've been away from the game for a while, and things have changed. It's kind of like Jon Jones, right? He's been out of MMA for what, 3 years, I think it is. And things have changed. Half Benjamin Marshall, great to see you, man. Great to hear from you. Great to be here. But yeah, so things have changed for me in my life. I have another job now. I'm out of journalism, although I do keep close tabs on it. Um, and I'm actually the media's worst critic now that that I'm away from it. I spent 25 years as a newspaper reporter covering crime and emergency news, and now I am the worst critic that there is out there, or maybe you could say the best critic, because that's what they need. That's what the media needs right now. But anyway, so a lot's changed for me in that sense. I'm into public relations now, so kind of the other side of the communications coin, and having a great time at it, having an absolute blast at it. But I thought that the time would be right. I thought that it was about time to kind of revamp the channel and get back into things, kind of ease back into things, kind of dip my toe into the water, so to speak. And I'm going to be doing other things too, like you've seen, some things having to do with my current job, some things having to do with the media, and just other things. If I see something that I want to smash with my sledgehammer, well, then by golly, I'm going to do that and probably record it. So, and then I did an interview because I love heavy metal and hard rock. I was a teenager in the '80s, so I interviewed John Gallagher from Raven, which is one of the bands that's credited with the whole new wave of British heavy metal. What's that? NWO BHM. Yeah, if you look that up, if you look up NWO BHM, new wave of British heavy metal, that will tell you all about that. I'm not going to go on and on. Love stop, baby, love stop. Yeah. So Call of Delhi, love stop. Yeah. With that is Tiger Woods, right? Have you heard, my man? Have you heard the song Tiger Woods by Steel Panther? I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs by Steel Panther. So if you haven't heard that, Love Stop, Yeah, of course you have. Yeah. I love that song. Anyway, so yeah, so I just decided I'm gonna do what I want to do on this channel because it's goddamn it, it's my channel. But not I'm not looking to make a lot of money or anything like that. But I'm gonna do what I want to do. Before I was doing like 5 videos a day for MMA. I was kind of married to it, so to speak. And it got to be a little bit of a drag. I'll just be honest with you. Um, so but this time I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna ease back into the whole MMA coverage. I'm not gonna go hog wild with it, at least not initially. And but I'm gonna try to do more interviews, and so hopefully you're along for the ride. Hopefully you enjoy it. You enjoy the content I put out there. Of course, I'll always take suggestions from you. Um, but yeah, enough about that. Enough about that. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, as they say. UFC 285. UFC 285. So they're inching closer and closer to the 300 mark. I mean, when they get there, so what, right? But no, it was a big milestone when they hit 100 and when they hit 200. So anyway, UFC 285. Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. I had to look that one up. I had to look up I had to watch some videos to determine how to pronounce this gentleman's last name, because he's a relative newcomer. When I left MMA, this guy wasn't around, or at least he wasn't around. He wasn't in the UFC for sure. So his name is Ciryl Gane. It's not Gagne or Gane, which you'd think it would be because he's French, right? He's from France. Um, I mean, I think he's actually, his ethnicity, I think, is actually South American, or Central or South American, but he lives in, born and raised, or raised in France. So you'd think, and his last name is Gane. So you'd think it would be Gagne, right? Because that's French sounding, but no, it's Gane. So his last fight was against Francis Ngannou. So you had Gane and Ngannou. So it had to be very confusing. But I watched that. I watched the highlights of that fight. That was UFC 270. And Francis Ngannou was the champ, and Ciryl Gane. Yeah, you thought it was pronounced Gain. Yeah, it looks like Gain, but the video I was watching, it was the fight with Ngannou, and they were saying Gane. So I think it might be Gone. Going, gone. No. But anyway, I know it's going to be stupid jokes all the way around. And then you got Jon Jones with the weight gain versus Ciryl Gane. You know what I mean? It just, yeah. Anyway, so I watched that fight, and he lost a decision. Ciryl Gane lost a decision to Francis Ngannou. Then Ngannou gets into a big dispute with the UFC. He wants more money. They say, "F you, we're not going to give you more money." And so he just gets he gets gone. Ngannou gets gone. So the title's up for grabs. Heavyweight title's up for grabs, and it just so happens that Jon Jones is ready to go. He's had 3 years off, and he's gained weight. I'm not sure exactly how much, but I mean, it's over 205, which is what he was at for light heavyweight, and we always knew that he was dropping major weight to make 205. He's 6'4". He has the longest wingspan in the history of the UFC, and he was upwards of 230 when he was training, and he would whittle that away, and he would get down to 205 on the mark when he would hit the scales, and then 24 hours later he'd probably be up to 220 or so by the time he hopped into the octagon. So we always knew that, but the question is, depends what your definition of is. No, the question is, can he gain that weight? Can he sustain that weight? Is he comfortable with more weight? And I'm not sure exactly how much he's walking around at. What he's going to tip the scales at. Will it be 230? Will it be 235? Will it even be 240? I don't know. We all know that he's called Bones because he got that name, I think, in high school because his legs were so skinny. You know, he had, I don't know if he still does, but he had, chicken bone legs. Um, so I don't know where he's put the weight on, but he has gained weight. And I don't know that it's going to be as big. I don't know if he's going to be as big as Gane. He may not be. Gane might have a weight advantage on him. Gane appears to be about the same height. He appears to be about 6'4" as well, because Ngannou is about that height, and they seemed about eye to eye. So Gane just has a thicker, a bigger frame than Jon Jones, but but they're about equal as far as height, and Gane probably doesn't have quite the reach, although he has it. I'm sure he has a decent reach. He probably doesn't have. Jon Jones is just a freak in that regard. His reach is just otherworldly. So when you look at it, I know Jon Jones very well. You guys know Jon Jones very well. He's when they talk about well-rounded, he's kind of the epitome of that. I don't like him as a person, but as a fighter, you can't deny that he is very, very skilled. Would I call him the GOAT? I look at Jon Jones as the Barry Bonds of mixed martial arts. Barry Bonds, I think he had both the highest number of he had the record for home runs in a season, and then he had the overall home run record as well. He beat, I guess it was Hank, no, not Hank Aaron. Whoever beat Hank Aaron, he had the most, right? Barry Bonds had the most for both, but there's an asterisk next to his name. He'll probably never make it into the Hall of Fame because he did steroids. Everybody knows it. If you look at him when he was with the Pirates versus when he went over to San Francisco, the weight gain at such an old age, the guy was on the juice. No doubt about that. Hey, Jake Sleeps. Mayweather is in town or is there in the chat. And Tofin. Yeah, all is definitely well with me, Tofin. All is definitely well. Yeah, I'm just like I said, I got a new job and having a great time and still here in the padded cell, as you can see. I haven't done anything with my basement. It's the same as it's always been, and it'll probably stay that way. But anyway, so back to the fight, back to the kind of a little bit of analysis. I look at Jon Jones as the Barry Bonds of the UFC, of mixed martial arts, because he's been busted for steroids. I don't know how many times. Remember the whole thing where he was hiding under the where was he? He was at Jackson Winklejohn, his training camp, and he was hiding underneath the cage when USADA came by to give him a test, because they don't tell you beforehand. That's the whole idea of the test, is that it's a surprise. And so he allegedly hid under the cage apron there until they left, because oh, where's John? Oh, we don't know where he is. Jon Jones, so so he's been busted for steroids so many times. I don't consider him the GOAT. But anyway, Jake saying March has some insane fights coming up. Can't wait. Yeah, and this is one of them. This is going to be an insane fight, because it's the whole thing of, can Jon Jones, can he operate at optimum, power, optimum, can he use all of his skills? Can he utilize all of his skills to their maximum at a heavier weight against a very formidable opponent in Ciryl Gane? Yay. It's like It's like that French guy, Juicy Smouillet. I loved that bit from Dave Chappelle. Right? It should be French. It looks like it's French. Juicy Smouillet, Ciryl Gane. But anyway, yeah. And the long and the short of it is, I think Jon Jones can do it. I think Jon Jones can do it. Um, Gagne, Gane is a very, very tough guy, but we saw in the Francis Ngannou fight, and Ngannou is a striker. He's not really known for his ground game, but Ngannou was able to take him down. Um, and it was kind of funny because Gane even tried a heel hook on Ngannou, and that was kind of funny. But Jon Jones is just his wrestling is, at least it was, 3 years ago, it was on point, and I know he's been training with some serious wrestlers. He always has. Um, Although Gustafson was able to take Jon Jones. I loved that fight. That first fight between Jon Jones and Alexander Gustafson, that was a hell of a fight. I had Gustafson winning. He took Jon Jones several times, took him down several times, something that no one had been able to do. I don't think that Gane is going to be able to take Jon Jones down. No way. And Jones, if Gane decides that he's going to try to take it to the ground, probably out of frustration, um, I don't, Jon Jones is going to sprawl right out of it. So the feet, it's gonna be very interesting because Jon Jones is a very skilled and at times unorthodox. He'll pull out some crazy elbows and stuff like that and kicks. Uh, that's him on the feet. Gun is a very skilled kickboxer, spinning kicks and throwing crazy elbows and lots of low kicks. I noticed in that fight with Ngannou though, low kick after low kick after low kick, or as they like to call it these days, a calf kick. I don't like that term, calf kick, because, well, you might not hit the calf. You might hit the back of the knee. You might hit the thigh. So I still like low kick. I'm going to stick with low kick. And Jake's saying I got my money on Ciryl, but if anyone can do it, it's Jon. Yeah. I think that I think it's going to be a decision, and I think it's going to go for Jones. I think that it's the storyline that everybody wants to see, and as we learned with the NFL, if it's the storyline that the NFL wants, then it's the storyline that the NFL is going to get. And so this is, I think, the storyline. I mean, look at it. It's Jones versus Gane. It's not Gane versus Jones. Jon Jones is the golden boy of the UFC, and Gane is just a guy that he's going to get through, probably by decision, because Gane is tough, and he has the stamina to go 5 rounds. I don't think that Jon Jones is going to be able to finish him. He's big, he's fast, he's skilled on the feet. So I don't think that Jon Jones is going to be able to finish him. And I think also Jon Jones wants to see if he can go the 5 rounds. I think he looks at it as a test for himself, since it is his debut at heavyweight. I think he's gonna hey, let me try to go 5 with this guy, and just dominate him, and not try to overextend himself to try to finish him, unless there's an opening. Let's say he throws a head kick, and it knocks Gane down, and then Jones can pounce on him. But otherwise, I think he's just going to try to go the 5 rounds. But yeah, there was something I was reading. Jon Jones said that Ciryl Gane trains pretty, I believe was the phrase. He trains pretty. And this is Jon Jones, doing a little psyop here, doing a little psychological warfare, which we know that he is prone to doing. Some people can hang with him in that respect, and others can't. And Gane, I'm sure. I don't know how adept Gane is is he fluent in English? I don't know. Um, So somebody's probably translating for Gane what Jon Jones is saying about him. So Jon Jones was saying he trains pretty. Jon Jones has watched him. Now, obviously, if you're a smart fighter, you're not going to reveal everything. You're not going to reveal all of your training footage. I remember when I was covering guys locally here, at least one guy was like, "Don't put anything up online of me training because I don't want any of my potential opponents to see me. I don't want them knowing what it is that I do and how I do it and the intensity that I do it at and all that stuff." So that can be very controlled. So what Jon Jones has seen of Ciryl Gane, he says it looks like he's training pretty, but maybe he hasn't seen everything that Gane is doing. The other, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Who do you think is going to win this fight between Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane? UFC 285, March 4th, 2023, at the T-Mobile Arena in Paradise, Nevada, which is part of the Las Vegas metropolitan area. I didn't know there was a place called Paradise, Nevada. I don't know if I would consider it paradise. I don't know. I've never been there. I don't know. To me, paradise. I don't know where it would be. Tahiti. I don't know. Yeah, Jake. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. Here's something. Here's an aside. So when I ramped back up my channel, I'm not monetized at this point. It's very interesting. I was going to say the UFC. YouTube has you jump through a bunch of hoops because I was demonetized. Impressed? Did you say impressed? We are not impressed. We are depressed. I was demonetized because, admittedly, I used some things that weren't mine. Now, we all know that there's fair use, but there's a way that you have to go about doing that. You have to kind of alter things a little bit if you're going to claim fair use. And I guess I didn't do that. So I'm admitting that right now. So I guess I got a bunch of copyright strikes. And so YouTube said, "You're demonetized." There you go. You're demonetized. Are you happy now? So now, in order to get remonetized, after getting demonetized, I get remonetized. I want to get bona fide. That's from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" I got to get bona fide. In order to do that, you have to have so many hours of people watching your stuff within like a year or something. So many watch hours, or you can do it by shorts because they're really nuts about the shorts now. To kind of counter the whole TikTok craze. YouTube came up with shorts, and so they want you to produce those. So if you have so many hours of people or so many views on your shorts, or so many hours of people watching your regular streams and videos, then you can get monetized again. So I'm on that road. It's going to be a long road, but it's if you want to play by YouTube's rules, that's what you got to do if you get demonetized. So I'm gonna see if I can do it. So Jake had said that he's got his money on Ciryl, but if anybody can do it, it's Jon Jones. Then we got Damn Savage. Been a minute since I've seen the old padded cell. That's right. I'm still going crazy in the padded cell. And then we got D Block Diaz. I got Jon Jones with the KO in round 3, 2 minutes in. Very specific. I like that. Very specific. Hey, you could be onto something there. You could be onto something. One would figure, okay, so with the added weight, we know Jon Jones can hit hard. With the added weight, will that mean that he can hit even harder? But then again, you got Ciryl Gane, who is probably going to, it looks like he's going to tip the scales. He's a very muscular dude. At 6'4", he probably does tip the scales right up there at the limit of 265, or close to it. I don't know. Does anybody know his weight? I don't know his weight. but I'd be willing to bet he's up there, 250, 260, somewhere, in that area. And I don't think that Jon Jones is going to be that heavy. My guess is he's probably going to be anywhere between 230 and 240, somewhere in there. It's been a few years, but it seems Jon Jones is a hard gainer. He's what you'd call a hard gainer. He's naturally a what do they call that? An ectomorph. Oh, that. Okay, Jake, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. Well, it's just one arm. This is one arm. But yeah, I just worked arms today. I was in the gym. I did bis and tris. So coincidentally, yeah. So and D Block saying Jon Jones has a 3-inch reach and that matters. It does matter. Absolutely, 100%. 100% it does. Oh, and if you extend the fingers, what's that? He's got a because we know he loves to eye poke. That's it. Hey, I'm just being honest. Let's be honest. Will the eye poke come into play in this fight? Or has he finally learned to curtail that? Or is he going to continue to just, have that hand out there? And damn Savage is saying, reminds me of Damn Yankees, the band. But damn Savage is saying at least 240 because he was 230 when he was at light. Right. He would walk around at 230, and then he would cut to 205. Right, exactly. But anyway, yeah, I mean the eye pokes were another thing. Was he a dirty fighter? I used to get on his case about it, all the time because it happened. It's the preponderance of the evidence. It happens so often, that he was poking people in the eye. It's like, wait, come on, dude. I think if you put your mind to it, I think you could kind of alter the way that you fight and not poke people in the eye time and time and time again. Right? I mean, were his coaches doing anything about that? Come on. I don't know, Jake. I don't know if I'm going to do it. Jake's asking about a fight companion. So for those who don't know, where I would, you would hear me commenting, doing commentary on the fights as they happen. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I might head out and watch it, because it's a lot cheaper to do that. Go to B-dubs, get some food and watch it there. Because that was another thing that really got me when I stopped covering MMA before, was the price tag. What is it now? $70, $75, $80 a pay-per-view? When does it end? But I appreciate you asking me that, Jake. I just don't know. And if I don't, though, I'll probably then do kind of a wrap up thing. I guess it would be the next day. Yeah. That was one of the issues too, was the price tag. It just kept going up. Drunk Savage. Okay. All right. Now I'm with you. Now I'm with you, man. Hey, and I also did want to talk about another fight that caught my eye. Guy named Bo Nickel. He's a middleweight fighting Jamie Pickett, expected to take place at the event. They were previously expected at UFC 282, but Nickel withdrew due to injury. Bo Nickel, I live in Pennsylvania. Bo Nickel was a wrestler at Penn State, and I had just somehow stumbled across some of his wrestling videos recently, earlier this week, and I kind of wondered to myself, hey, what's the deal with Bo Nickel? Where did he end up? Did he just graduate from Penn State and get a job? I don't know, selling pens or something. Now, the reason I say selling pens was, if you've ever seen The Smashing Machine, the documentary, it this one guy that's like, he decided, like he wrestled in college and then he decided, well, I'm not going to go into MMA. I'm just going to be like the best pen salesman, the best Bic salesman, on the East Coast or whatever. Um, but that probably remains the best mixed martial arts documentary, The Smashing Machine. But anyway, so oh yeah, okay. And Damn Savage is saying Bo won't live up to the hype in the long run. I didn't know, because I've been out of it. I didn't know there was that much hype around him. I know he's something like 3-0. He had 2 fights with Dana White's his kind of his uh, proving grounds thing that he has there. Um, where he puts on the fights for guys who are vying for a contract with the UFC Contender Series, Dana White's Contender Series. So I know Bo Nickel had a couple of wins on the Contender Series and then got a contract with the UFC. And those wins, I think, have been, if I remember correctly, have been by submission. So, and I think he's still maybe just a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, but of course he has a tremendous wrestling pedigree. Although we know that doesn't make a UFC fighter, just a wrestling pedigree. And then we got the other side of it. Jake says Bo's hype is very real. So yeah, we'll see. This will be a test for the guy. Definitely. I don't know much about Jamie Pickett, but if you're on the main card of the UFC, you're doing something. I mean, I guess he has a big fan following, and that's with this only being it's his first UFC fight. Because the other two, like I said, were in the Contender Series. His first UFC fight, he's already on the main card, so obviously he's got a big fan following. Yeah, I think I looked briefly at Jamie Pickett's record, and it did not look that impressive. I'll just say that. That was kind of that was what I took away from that. That was a takeaway from that. So Jake's saying, I think he's going to destroy Jamie, go on to huge things, and I usually doubt wrestlers. Yeah, I mean, it boils down to how fast he can develop those other skills, right? How fast can he develop and how well can he develop the striking? How fast and how well can he develop the submission game? So, and then putting it all together seamlessly, going from wrestling to jiu-jitsu to striking, just getting the whole game all together. That takes a while. He's at an advantage in a sense that he's got that wrestling background, but he doesn't want to. The problem with that, though, and I've seen this with local fighters that I got to know here in Pennsylvania, when the chips are down, when it doesn't look so great, they revert back to what they know the most, and that would be the wrestling. And then you end up, shooting for a takedown, and maybe you catch an uppercut, or you get stuck in a guillotine or something like that. So he needs to break out of that. Just relying so much on the wrestling. So he's on a huge learning curve. He's climbing that hill. We'll just have to see. We can bear witness to whether he can do it or not. Sober Carl. So we got Drunk Savage, who now goes by Damn Savage, and we got Sober Carl. All right, I like that. I like the balance here. Yes, I do. If Bo fights a really high level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, it'll be his downfall. Well, and hopefully he can avoid that until he's ready. I guess it all depends on what the UFC has planned for him. Because they can really kind of mess with that. They can say, oh yeah, we'll put him against this guy. We'll save the jiu-jitsu black belts for when he's got 4 or 5 fights under his belt or whatever. Yeah, Sambo's a great art too. I love that. I love catch wrestling. I'm a big catch wrestling proponent, big catch wrestling supporter. So yeah, I mean you've got takedowns and then submissions, but it's not like jiu-jitsu where it's the gentle art. Catch wrestling is the violent art. So, you're grinding somebody's face, you can't fish hook or eye poke, but it's the violent art. And you're looking for anything you can grab a hold of to do a submission. It's not like jujitsu is position before submission. Catch wrestling is catch as catch can. That's the shortened version is catch, which means you're just going to grab anything and just do a submission out of that. If that doesn't work, you move to the next submission. So you can kind of chain those submissions together. But it's submission from any position. You don't have to really worry about the position. I mean, obviously you want to be on top. You want to get the takedown and then go from there. Um, yeah. But I like sambo. I like catch wrestling. I've even been getting into judo. I haven't been doing it myself, not yet at least. But I see the. I mean, obviously, people have been doing judo since the UFC's been around. As far as working it into combat sports. But I see the value in it. Yeah, sure. So yeah, I don't. A lot of these other fights, we've got the UFC flyweight championship. Valentina Shevchenko. That's a name we're all familiar with. And Alexa Grasso. So that's the co-main event. A welterweight fight between Jeff Neal and Shavkat Rachmanov. Shavkat Rachmanov, I think, is a rising star. Then you got a lightweight bout, Mateus Gamrot versus Jalen Turner. Then we got Bo Nickel and Jamie Pickett. That closes out the main card. Then you got the preliminary card. Cody Garbrandt. There's a name. That guy's been around for a while. Cody Garbrandt versus Trevin Jones. Derek Brunson, another guy that I recognize, been around for a long, long time. Some of these guys, yeah, you just, they maybe they fight for the title, maybe they lose, and then they win a few. They kind of just hang around. They kind of hang around for a long time, because as long as you win as long as you don't string together, what was it? It used to be if you got 3 losses in a row, you were out. It was almost a guarantee you were out. But maybe you win 3 and then you lose 1 and then you win 2, then you can hang around for a while. So Derek Brunson versus Dricus Duplessis. Then women's flyweight Vivian Araujo versus Amanda Ribas. Then we have a middleweight bout, Julian Marquez versus Marc-Andre Barrio. In the Barrio, except he's probably French. Barriault, not Barrio like Barrio. There's a difference there. Darren Till was 1-5 till he got cut. Well, that's okay. But that's an anomaly for sure. That's an anomaly. Damn, Darren Till. That guy had a lot of promise, You want to talk hype. He had a lot of hype. A lot of hype at one point. I can remember, people say, "Oh my God, he's knocking out heavyweights in practice," But guess it didn't work out. But we've seen where guys get cut and then they go to a different organization, and like maybe if they can't get in a major organization, they'll go to a lower level organization and they'll string together 3 or 4 wins and then say, "Hey, UFC, look at me, man, look what I did," and then the UFC will take them back. That has happened. Anyway, we even have 5 more fights in the early prelims on ESPN Plus / UFC Fight Pass. Ian Gary versus Song Keenan, Cameron Simon versus Leomana Martinez, Jessica Penne versus Tabitha Ricci. Um, Damon Blackshear versus Farid Basharat, and Esteban Ribovics versus Loic Rods Radsabov. Whew. Telling you, those Russian names, they can get you. Shavkat Rachmanov. Yeah, it's tough. It is tough, but it's an international organization, so I am going to give it everything I can in pronouncing these. I mean, some of my favorites. Remember Stipe Miocic, like when you start up a car. That was an old one. Haven't done that one in a long time. Does anybody else have any favorite fights that that they're looking forward to on that card, aside from Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane? Simon's asking, Simon O'Shea's asking, do I think Jeff Neal will get smoked? Jeff Neal on the main card, a welterweight, fighting Shavkat Rachmanov, the guy who I was just struggling with. I you know what? I'm going to be totally 100% honest with you, Simon. I don't know enough. I'm going to have to research that. Because I don't know enough about. I've heard that this Shavkat guy is very, very good. I don't know much about Jeff Neal, so I don't know if he's going to get smoked or not. Smoked like a summer sausage, like a side of beef, like Hillary Clinton being tossed into an open van, thrown in there like a side of beef. Yeah, so I'm really excited about all this. I'm excited about doing these. Can't wait for the super chats. Well, thank you, Jake. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's going to be as I said, it might end up being a long road. It all depends on how quickly I can complete my penance that YouTube has laid out before me. It used to be when you go to church, you get penance. This is if you're a Catholic. So you say, hey, to the priest, these are my sins. I did this, I did that. I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. And he says, okay, give me 10 Hail Marys and give me 10 Our Fathers, and you're good to go. The good Lord says you're all right. So then you sit there in your pew and you say your prayers. My penance for YouTube is a little bit more involved than that, as I was saying. So I've got to string together a bunch of watch hours. So I depend on you fine folk for doing that. And but I got to produce the content, right? And this is the start of it. This is part of it right here. So hopefully I can do that and get back to the super chats. Super chat. Yeah, because why not, right? Yep. So, like I said, let's kind of close this out here. We're gonna do MMA. I'm gonna have some other things. If I like to, do some crazy things with sledgehammers and axes. Yeah, Catholics. Yeah, well, yeah. The guilt, the Catholic guilt. It's real. It is real. I haven't been to church in a long, long, long time. But anyway, lost my train of thought there because I was thinking of the time I once masqueraded as an Episcopalian. I went to this camp, summertime camp, and it was great. You could hang out with chicks, and you could smoke, and you could listen to heavy metal and stuff like that. But it was Episcopalian, so I kind of had to fake that. But that's like Catholic light, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, Simon, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I'm leaning towards no as far as live streaming, because I think I'm gonna go like to B Dubs or something like that and watch it because You know, they're expensive. They're really expensive. What are they now? Where you guys are they $70, 75, 80, something like that? They're wicked expensive. Um, I'm from New England, so I say wicked. Um, but anyway, yeah. So there's gonna be some stuff on here, some interviews. I'm gonna try to interview some fighters, maybe. Um, guys that I know or have known in the past, and who've probably forgotten about me, but there'll be some surprises. There'll be some surprises. So yeah. Um, support me if you can. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll just, as I said, dipping my toe in back in. I'm not going to go hog wild like I did before, where I was doing like 4, 5, 6, 7 videos a day. That just got to be a little overwhelming. After a while with everything else going on. So yeah, I'm here. I'm happy. I'm happy you're here. $80. My God. That's insane. That's insane. Insanity. I tell you. Um, maybe if they lowered it, they'd get bigger pay-per-view buys. I don't know. Crazy idea. Crazy idea. All right. So thanks so much. I really appreciate it, guys. Great seeing you all. Great talking with you. And I will catch you again soon.